Hey, everybody, welcome back to our Velocity Sellers podcast. I'm Velocity Pete, your host. We're joined today by two of our regular experts that you've seen before. This is actually the duo that we had on our very first episode. So it's a little nostalgic now. We're on episode 13 here. So James and Lisa, thank you both for being on the show once again. It's great to have you back. Would you mind just both giving us a little introduction to who you are and your credentials for being on Amazon?
My name is Lisa Zaydell. I'm executive director here at Velocity Sellers, and I have been working with Amazon since 2008.
I'm James D., Director of Brand Management here at Velocity Sellers. Been on Amazon for over 10 years, I believe, long time, and as well as e-com in general.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, folks, these are our geniuses for today. And today we've got an interesting topic that, as an Amazonian, as someone that's been on Amazon for myself, maybe 4 years now, I feel like I hear questions about this topic quite a lot. We're talking about brand registry. To most people, this might just seem straightforward. You get a trademark, you submit it, boom, you're done. But there are a lot of complicated nuances that go into this. And so lucky for you, we're here today to talk about those complicated nuances. That's a SAT word there for you. And we're going to talk about just, again, what goes into brand registry and how we can help you kind of navigate through some of the more complicated hurdles. So first things right off the bat, Lisa, what is brand registry? Very simple elevator pitch, 30 seconds, you're on the clock. What does it mean to be brand registered on Amazon?
Okay, so a couple of years ago, I think it was like 2 to 3 years ago, Amazon developed brand registry as a way to control counterfeiters and give added benefits to the brand. So it's a separate portal, it's a separate login, and in order to have brand registry, you must have a trademark.
So there it is, folks. It's really, maybe it is that simple as you get a trademark and you submit it. Looking at like what goes into it, James, like what are some of the simple benefits of being brand registered? Like Lisa, you said fighting against counterfeits. Like James, what else is there for these benefits of being in this program?
A lot more tools, a lot of brand tools, different promotions. You qualify for different advertising opportunities, as well as protection, as Lisa alluded to, in regards to counterfeiting, so you can help protect your brand and the customer experience. But yeah, there's I think Lisa, when we have a client and they're not brand registered, there's a lot of different things that we tell them to, right, for those protection services. So but yeah, Lisa will have a good idea of the process in order to get brand registered. I think is extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that you need to do is have a trademark. For this conversation, we're going to say in the United States, and that is done through the United USPTO .gov website. In most cases, we use the assistance of a lawyer because it is a little bit complex to do on your own. And I think that Amazon had realized that it was a difficult process. And so they've actually introduced IP Accelerator to help with this process and encourage sellers to register their brands.
Very cool. Yes, that was going to be my next question. So Jay's read my mind there. Just getting set up. I would assume most bigger companies already have a trademark, and probably in other countries too is another question I want to ask. But just before we jump into that, for little guys, is this a really complicated process? Like maybe smaller startups that don't have a lot of capital, like is there, or a lot of, have their own lawyer even. Is there any kind of tools Amazon offers to help get this going in the US particularly?
Yeah, actually, Amazon's made it a really simplified that process. They have a program called IP Accelerator, and once you go into there, you're able to search all these preferred attorneys that are available. You make a connection with those attorneys, and then off at Amazon, you'll have conversations uh, to go through that process. And one of the great benefits about doing that, which I think Amazon has streamlined that process, whether you go through IP Accelerator or not. But as you file your trademark, there's a certain you start getting all the brand benefits once it's submitted in the pending status. And that's a huge benefit. When we're seeing, and it fluctuates, but we're seeing under 2 weeks, I think I've noticed that brands get attached to the seller account. So it's relatively quick and it's a painless process. The fees, I would say, right between about 3 and 5,000. Obviously, different businesses and corporations have different complexities, so it could be a little bit higher. But that's kind of what we're seeing around the average.
That's perfect. I mean, it's probably going to be the same price if you didn't use IP Accelerator, maybe even more. You think if they went through like just hiring an attorney on their own, like it'd probably be the same legal fee money. So, or legal fee, it would probably be the same legal fee cost. So it's, I mean, why not just use Amazon to streamline everything? Obviously we're very biased as we like to send everything to Amazon, keep it all together, but just seems like it would be easier to keep everything together and use this tool. Very cool. Okay.
Yeah, just to add to that, the people that we've referred to use IP Accelerator, those clients are say nothing but good things about all those different attorneys. So that's
Mhm.
so far we've heard nothing but good things about those referring attorneys in IP Accelerator.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Um, we know how important reviews are for Amazon products, let alone Amazon lawyers. So definitely something to keep in mind. Um, I want to get into the tools in a little bit. But before I do that, I want to talk about ground basics. What is needed to even get trademarked? Is that a simple process? Is that complicated? Do you just need your business information? What goes into it there?
Recently, there's constant changes, but the most recent one we did a couple of weeks ago, what they're going to request is once you do receive your filing from the attorney, it's going to have what your word mark is of how it's spelt. Okay, and you have to, whether it's all caps or the first letter cap, so forth and so on, you have to input the brand name that you registered, and it matches whatever your trademark has been submitted. Okay. You basically also have to supply imagery. You want to make sure you have images of your product, preferably lifestyle images. I mean, like real life, proof of life imagery of the particular product. And then it starts getting into selecting the category that you're looking to sell in. This can obviously be changed as well. They don't really hold to it, but it's also just part of a process there to kind of go to the next steps. What I have noticed more recently than not is if you are a manufacturer, they want to see proof of purchase of goods, so like an invoice of so that way they know that you're a legit product or brand, as well as link to website. Sometimes that's more optional than anything. If you're selling in channel or you're selling outside of channel, it is also one of the requested questions, whether you sell on Amazon or not. I haven't seen any denied because you're selling on other channels. They just want to have a broad spectrum of where else is your product, whether other companies, whether I guess you, people can use your trademark. They ask if people already have authority to use the likeness of your brand, and just kind of qualifying questions, normal questions. But for the most part, the upload is product imagery from what I've seen, as well as more of proof of product. So an invoice, you can kind of black out all the pricing. They don't really need to see that. Um, and like I said, it's a pretty fairly seamless process after that point. After you submit that, it takes I think 72 hours to 3 to 5 business days is what I've seen. Then come back and whether well, one thing that they did add in there, I forgot to mention, was they'll since they are in partnership with the USPTO, is they send a request to the filing attorney. Okay. And that request is an authorization code. Okay. And it's just a whole big sequence of authorization, code, googly got numbers. It comes to that registrar and attorney. The attorney then forwards it to the appropriate, contact that they have. And then Amazon requests that in a support ticket. And then you submit that, just the authorization code, and that completes your registration.
One thing to note about that, Pete, is the person that puts the verification code into the case must be the super admin or the person that the brand that is the owner of the brand registry account. I've had other people in an organization try to put that code in, and it's actually gotten rejected because it wasn't coming from the owner. Another pitfall to watch out for is if your packaging is not exactly the same as the trademark, for example, capitalization or spaces. If you have a space in your words, the packaging must mirror that exactly. And I have also had where Brand Registry has requested an image of the UPC code, and we know that Amazon and GS1 have a partnership, and so that brand name should also be reflecting properly in the GS1 database.
Yes, this is all, like I said, this is all just giving more information to people that aren't at this process. Yes, perfect. It's exactly kind of what I wanted this be about today. So after you've got your trademark, after you're ready to go, you get connected with IP Accelerator, boom. What is the timeline we're seeing for people to get approved for the trademark? Is that like months? Is that a couple weeks, a couple days?
Yeah, we're seeing it used to be if you didn't use the IP accelerator, it could take like 6 months, right? It was a long time. I think Amazon, really is stepped up their game, and I'm seeing it 2 weeks. Barring that, you can get that authorization code. So I think that that's one of the snags that we do see. And then, like Lisa alluded to, is them submitting it with the wrong, not having the proper login, right, and submitting that code. So yeah, so if everything goes smoothly and you do it properly, I think 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, you're able to get the brand attached, and then you can start rocking and rolling.
And you have to wait that whole time, before you can get brand registered, or is there anything that you can do in between?
Well, Pete, what happens? So if you didn't go through that process right now, and you're in Seller Central and you want to create a product, and you start loading everything up, it's going to ask you for a brand name, right? And if that brand name's not attached to you, it'll pop up saying the brand's not registered, or it won't. It'll try to
Mhm.
force you most likely to do like generic, and that is definitely not what you want to do. You don't want to get into that hole, right, Lisa?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We don't recommend that at all.
To get out of that, it's going to be even longer process. So yeah, about
Yeah.
2 weeks. But in between that time, there's a lot of different things that you could be doing. Is really getting your master product sheet ready to go, getting your copy all written. You can get all your imagery intact, and really just get all that done. So when you're ready, you're just loading products at that point. So that's
Mhm.
part of that process to instead of waiting 2 weeks and then starting that process, you can get it all done while you're waiting.
Very, very cool. But you can't submit like a trademark in a approval process to get brand registered? Is that not? Does Amazon not allow that anymore? Um,
They used to, back in the day, from what I remember, they used to give you temporary brand approval. But I think that really bit Amazon, where no one would follow through with that. And then you had this brand, the products attached to it, but there's no brand, right? And no
mhm.
trademark or anything like that. So Amazon's really just cleaned it up. And even I think that's part of that authorization code because that's fairly new too. Where Johnny is like, here, I'll doctor some, but their partnership levels and their systems are crawling like the GS1 are looking at
Mhm.
everything. So a lot of automation tools are being put in place to stop the fraud, stop from bad actors from coming into play.
One thing that you should watch out for is if you have created the ASINs before you have gotten the trademark and brand registry, sometimes those ASINs don't connect to the brand properly. And there is a secret, what we call a node in the back end that we do not have access to, only Seller Help does, that can go back and reconnect any ASIN to your brand node. There's an option to do that. You can create a case in the advertising portal. And often we'll see that where the brand is not linking to the storefront. And that's an indicator that your brand node is not correct. And then you can also make that case as a technical case in brand registry to fix any ASINs that are not connected to your brand. If you are a new seller and you have not created ASINs, we do recommend just waiting that 2 week time period and putting those ASINs in after you have the brand registry
Mhm.
connected. It just makes things a little bit easier, but it really depends on your timeline.
Yeah, it sounds like it's the first step before listing a product, like products, is going to be this getting brand registered, so you don't have to go through all this hassle, jump through all these extra hoops. But yeah, I guess you're right. It does depend on if you're. I guess if you're trying to get things out quicker, but at that point, like do you want a rush job or do you want it done right, kind of thing. So interesting. All right. Let's say now that we are brand registered, we have approval. We just uploaded all of our ASINs in there. We got all our products ready to go. What are some of these content tools, James, that we can now use now that we are brand registered?
Yeah, good question. There's so many different features that are available. One comes to mind. You basically activate your brand story. Okay, so it's a functionality or a little carousel that you can kind of showcase who you are, your products, and have those linked back to your Amazon store. Which again, with the brand registry, you get an Amazon store as well as A plus pages. A plus pages, in a sense, replace your description. Okay, so instead of your text description, now you can kind of tell the story through imagery. Okay, all that imagery and text is all scraped by their AI, so you can get rank through those as well. Amazon doesn't usually typically confirm or deny or how much it does increase your percentage of sale, but we do see a higher rate of conversion from that. Lisa, what are some of the other tools that you're seeing out there on the brand registry side?
I really like the analytical data that you can get off of the brand dashboard. So now we can see, income, male or female. There's lots of data that is now coming through on your brand. Another feature I really like is new to brand. How many customers are purchasing your product for the first time? And then we also, I think it expands into content creator and all these other new tools that are coming through. So if you haven't utilized the brand dashboard, you should definitely take a look because it's changing and adding more information every single day.
Yeah, Lisa, I like how you mentioned a content creator. Amazon's getting big into UGC, user generated content. By being a brand registered, you get Amazon Live, you get post Amazon posts, which you can do video now. You can get content creators, which are like Amazon influencers. You can get Amazon buying to your, so you can start getting reviews on your product. There's so many of these features that Amazon it just enables you because they feel comfortable that you are a legitimate brand. So here's these tools to help grow your messaging, your brand awareness, the voice of the brand, essentially.
I didn't know Vine was locked behind brand registry. That's interesting. I guess that makes
I
sense.
think Vine is from one. Not 100% sure on that. I'll have to double check on that.
I thought it was
Yeah,
too.
I
So
think it is.
we could just fact
Yeah, let's
check.
fact check ourselves. I thought it was,
Yeah,
but
we-
let's double check. There's a good question on that. Let's see. Tools. It says
yeah.
for brands who want to build awareness, trust, and boost your new or slow-moving products by invited trusted reviewers to Amazon store to post authentic customer reviews. So it looks like it is just for
Wow.
content.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I
Okay.
thought that was just kind of open to anybody with FBA. So very interesting that again, Amazon really makes it clear that they want you to be transparent with your brand and your products, and say like this is my brand, this is my products, and I guess also it helps them keep out the bad actors, the fakes. Shout out to our friends over at Brand Alignment who can help you take care of those as well. But in our other brand alignment episode, we talked a little bit about them and just how else you can kind of get them away. Um, but yeah, it just really, I guess, just like you said, it really helps keep these like other unauthorized third parties off the listings as well. Correct? Like, um, what does Amazon do about that? Do they let other people just kind of sell on your listings, even if they're brand registered? Do they have to have some sort of proof that you, as the brand, authorize them to sell? What's their process there, Lisa?
Yes, I have seen larger brands that are gated. However, it's not an option for most of us, unfortunately. And so the rule is that Amazon is an open marketplace. They encourage to have multiple sellers on a listing. And so if that particular 3P is actually selling authentic product, they do have the right to sell on that ASIN. What they do not have the right to do is create a duplicate ASIN with your brand with a fake UPC code. So that is in violation of terms of service. Or if they're changing your brand name by misspelling it and creating a listing, that is also in violation of terms of service. So it really depends on the situation. And if you do think they are a counterfeiter, you should do a test buy and then file that claim through brand registry.
You could do that on brand registry too. You can say to them like, "Hey, that we think this is someone that's knocking off our products, selling like not illegally, but I guess counterfeit's illegal. So yeah, selling illegal products on Amazon on our listing. Let's take care of this. Then they'll remove them if they find the claims to be true."
That's correct, Pete. And also patent violations. So if you own a patent and someone is breaking or copying you, that is also a violation that can be filed through brand registry.
Wow, that's a lot more. This is a lot more. I will say, I thought I was pretty knowledgeable on this stuff. I did not realize that all this legal. There was a legal side to brand registry as well. As more than just being like getting your trademark registered and giving you these benefits. Wow, this is all amazing stuff. This is exactly again what I wanted to share with people out there because someone like me, it's been on Amazon for a little bit now, doesn't even know this stuff. I can't imagine anybody new would be able to kind of pick up on this either. Um,
There's actually three different types of violations on brand registry. So there's trademark, copyright, and patent violations. And so those are the three. And then also, obviously, a counterfeit, which should be removed immediately.
Yep. And there's some steps. Amazon kind of gives you a step-by-step process when you're in the brand registry to report any of these infringements. It'll ask you, did you do a test buy? Did you, what was the seller's name? So forth and so on. So you just have to make sure that you do document when you get the product on a test buy, take your pictures, Just build enough a case, right, for Amazon to, potentially rule in your favor, and they'll reimburse you for that test buy if they do rule in your favor, and take down those bad actors or those unauthorized counterfeiters.
Kind of leading into that similar situation, like let's say you are a distributor of a brand, think of one on the spot, like of Bath and Body Works products. They're not on Amazon, Bath and Body Works themselves. So there's no ASIN to really latch onto. What's the situation there? Do people just, whoever was there first gets the listing created? And if Bath and Body Works were themselves to go on there, would they be able to say like these are our products? Give us these listings, put them in our catalog, kind of thing. Like what's the process there? Like using them as an example.
It's a bad example, Pete, because they are so big, they'll probably have it gated and shut you down pretty quick.
They
I'm
they
just
they would like if so like let's say I'm like somehow I have like a million Bath and Body Works products. I won't say that I do. Um, Normally, I love their candles. Let's say I have a million products and I want to sell them on Amazon. I know there's probably listings out there already of people selling them. They're not good because there's no, like you said, there's no brand store, there's no A plus, there's no um, brand story. But I want to get on there and I want to sell the list. I'll sell the product. Can I just jump on there as a seller? Is that I don't have to be brand registered, right? Because I can't be brand registered as a normal person. It's not Bath and Body Works, but um, if they were to come on, right, they would probably they're big enough to. Do you think they would knock every reseller out and it would just be them?
I'll let Lisa answer that.
So what will happen in that scenario is if I'm not Bath and Body Works and I want to list my ASIN, you have to go through the 5665 error code, and so that is just verifying that the product that you have is authentic. And so you'll go to upload that template, and it will come back down and say you must clear this error. And the way that you're going to do that is you're going to take real life photos and a close up of that UPC code and follow this Amazon steps to get that error cleared. Once that error is taken away, you can list Bath and Body Works products. Now, if I am Bath and Body Works and I decide that I want to come onto Amazon, they would have to have a Seller Central account and bring those ASINs into the account and take over as the main contributor. So every ASIN has contribution, and brand owners with brand registry are at the top of that contribution. In theory, they're supposed to be even above Vendor Central or Amazon.com retail for contribution, but sometimes you have to file a few cases in order to make that happen. And so it's just a process. Sometimes it's not an easy process. It's a lot of cleanup for Bath and Body Works to do that. But we have done that several times with some brands.
Very cool. I mean, and I would think again, as someone who shops frequently at Bath and Body Works, whether it be the online store or the in person stores, um, there's probably a lot of money to be made by them coming on to Amazon and saying these are our products. People are probably buying them even if their listings aren't fully updated with content and bullet points and good SEO. Probably pretty bad ads. There's probably still a lot of money to be made there. Imagine if they were doing, like updated content like on their websites and better ad targeting. I just can't imagine how much that would be. But okay, so interesting. So even if you're not brand registered, if there's no one to claim the ASIN, it's kind of like the wild, wild west there, where it's like if you have the product and you can verify that this is the product and it's not, um, anything shady, you can go ahead and sell. Okay, interesting.
Even if you did, let's just take t-shirts for an example, patterns or uh, bands, and you can get a letter of
Mhm.
authorization, right? And as long as you supply the letter of authorization, you can be able to sell those type of merchandise. Okay, so there are different mechanisms in place for approval, but in some cases, like Lisa said at the very beginning, it could be a gated product, and they just say you're not authorized to sell this product. Have a nice day. See you later. So there's a lot of different scenarios when you start selling on Amazon.
In any case, looking at some more benefits of being brand registered, it almost seems like this is, or looking at all the benefits, it almost seems like this is sort of essential. I know this is like not technically required to sell, right? But it almost seems like this would just be something that if you don't have this, you're really missing out on I mean, I'm going to say a lot of sales. Images, like we always talk about in our content episode, images sell the product. If you don't have good images on there, like you're doomed. And if you just have the text product description as opposed to the nice, fancy, showy A+, you're probably not going to convert as much. I think Arland, from one of our content episodes, talked about uh, images or listings with A+ convert more than listings without. So again, it just almost seems like being brand registered really helps contribute to sales in
Oh,
general.
absolutely. Bar none. It, you just get a lot more tools. You get a lot more selling features. One of the features and they're constantly adding new ones, which is amazing. Recently, past probably what 6 months or so, Lisa, the brand tailored promotions started coming into play, which is very similar to functionality if you had a website, which is like you can target a cart abandoners, people that have added you to the cart but haven't purchased in the last 90 days. New to brands, you can market to them, or at risk, customers that haven't purchased you from in a while, but you can target them. So they're giving you the brand a lot more tools to be have engagement with the customer base. Another big thing that Amazon started doing for a couple of years now, which is followers. You can have followers to your brand. Okay, so like in essence, you can start creating your groupies to your brand, and any type of marketing that you do. As long as they follow your brand, they'll be able to kind of be like this the first to know, so to speak. So you can market to them through posts. You can market to them when you start doing Amazon Lives, which is almost like a QVC, HSN, that you can control. Right? You can get on there and start talking about the product. Have the product on a marquee at the bottom. People, and you have your call to action, and they can purchase straight from your video. So it's really, really powerful. And a lot of brands that we notice, or a lot of people just don't even know about it, right? They're not even utilizing all the capabilities of what Amazon can do. So there's a lot of benefit to being brand registered for sure.
For sure. One thing I want to mention to you, Pete, is that we have brands that we manage that do not actually sell their products on Amazon, and they're there only to manage their brand and how it is displayed to the customer. So we know that Amazon sometimes is used for product research, or can come up in Google against your own website. And so your brand really needs to have a cohesive message across all of your channels. And if you are choosing not to be in Amazon, you are choosing to allow 3P or other sellers to represent your brand. And that is a mistake. That is absolutely 100% not the way that your brand should be portrayed on one of the biggest, or the biggest selling
Yeah.
platform. It's just not conducive to sales across channels. So just something to think about if you're a brand owner. Turning away from Amazon might not be the right choice.
Great point, Lisa. We've noticed an influx of brands that come to us and saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm not on Amazon, and we're not being how do we control this? It's getting out of control. Our imagery, our pricing." It's almost like panic mode, right? It's almost like they're in disarray, right, Pete? I think we met some people at the last show, and it was just it's a real big problem if you're not brand registered and get onto Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I see it. I hate to use them as an example again, but I see it with the Bath and Body Works people. I mean, I look at their listings and I'm like, this is not. And again, I'm a big supporter of them. You know, I've given them a lot of money over the years for candles and soaps. This is not the way that when I go into a store, this is not the way that I see it very differently on Amazon. It's shabby. It's not complete. It's like one line bullet points. Like it's just very. It's not the image that I think they would want to go for as a super fan, as a stan. So it's a shame to see that that's how it's being represented on Amazon. But like you said, that's just if you're not on there, like there's no law, there's no regulation. You know, you have to be that if you want to kind of fix this up. You have to open that seller account. You have to get brand registered and take over the listings and really optimize them. So yeah, it's just very. It's a shame how we see that. Yeah.
Not an easy process, it does take a lot of time and effort. We've, as an agency, have done it countless times, right? So we're there every day, all day doing that.
But no, absolutely. Like I said, it's a shame to see like a lot of these brands that are just not their image isn't represented well on Amazon. It's because these other third parties are taking over. I can think of a bunch of them that just as someone that again works with Amazon that knows the volume of searches and the volume of people that are on there daily looking at your brand. I would think that you would want it to be in your brand image and not in what someone thinks your brand image is. Um, yeah, what is the number we talked about last time? I think it's like 70, maybe higher than that percentage of like searches for products start on Amazon. Not even not even just Google. It's like people are looking on Amazon, like, oh, is this product on Amazon? And when they look up your product and they see it, and it's like in this shabby state of unoptimized, not telling them anything about the product, really, just really brief statements. I would think again as a shopper too, like I'm not going to buy that. I'm going to look for something else. So where I'm going to try and maybe go off Amazon, but if I'm already on Amazon, I might as well try and find something else, you know? So I feel like that's the mindset of most Amazon shoppers is to say, can I find something better on Amazon?
But
So,
Pete, you made a good point there, which I really do like you that you mentioned is anybody that's out there that's not a brand, I mean, that is a brand that's not on Amazon, go into Amazon and type your brand name and see what comes up. See what the representation is. I think you'd be quite surprised that there's a lot of mis representation going on. More and more now that it's easier to get brand registered, that should be a huge focus for brands not on Amazon to start doing in 2024 for sure.
and then let's say, right, let's say that they listen to us, listen to our advice, right? They say, all right, like let's get on Amazon. Um, aside from like I already mentioned them already, but aside from like brand alignment, like what are the other programs that they can use to kind of say like, okay, this is our product. When someone orders from us, they're getting our product. I know there's an Amazon program out there that can do that, right? They put a sticker on, I forget what it's called. Um, but they put a sticker on your packaging and they say like, hey, like, you know, this is a certified product from X brand. Like, is that
Okay,
what is that?
that's transparency. That's Amazon's transparency program. So basically, Amazon has a program for you to individually label unique ID each product that goes into Amazon. So when someone tries to list that product or try to send that product into FBA, if it does not have that transparency code, it gets they have 2 weeks to prove with transparency code, and they won't be able to list or send the product into Amazon. You get a nice little dashboard, you get a nice control panel, and it's actually really neat to watch how many um, attempts have been made to load that product up. It's actually baffling. We have one client that is utilized it to really clean up their portions of their distribution channel, and it's pretty shocking, right? To clean up a lot of the counterfeits, a lot of the importers coming in. Uh, you're talking thousands and thousands of attempts a quarter of people trying to list those products. It is a service. It is a paid service by Amazon. So you are purchasing the labels through Amazon's preferred one of their preferred partners, if I remember correctly. You order them, you get them, you put them on each individual package, and then send it to Amazon, and you're good to go. Lisa, do you have any insight, a little bit more insight on the transparency side?
Yes, I've actually seen the warnings that you get when you try to load a transparency item. And they are quite intimidating, to say the least. And a lot of sellers try to do FBM, and they say, "Oh, okay, yeah, if I can't sell this through FBA, I'll try to get past transparency by doing FBM." But that doesn't work. You have to key in or upload the transparency code every single time you ship, which is very laborious, and most APIs do not have that data field. So the transparency code is sort of an unofficial way to gate your brand, and it does limit the number of sellers that are selling your product, because a lot of times they're sourcing it in a way where the transparency codes might not be on the packaging. And so it's a really beneficial program.
And is that different from? I know they also have Project Zero. Um, what what is that, and can they be used in tandem? Are they separate? Kind of like what's the deal with them?
Yeah, so typically, if you have brand registry, we can handle most situations with counterfeits through the main portal. Project Zero is just a little bit more of an intense way to track counterfeiters and approach those situations. But really, we find that the tools of brand registry, in most cases, can get the job done.
I would say to I know, Lisa, you said you had found an issue with changing content. I know, um, and brand register. I know that Amazon is actually allowing some of your third parties now to update content. This is a big change that's coming out. This is very interesting that Amazon is doing this. I don't like it too much right off the bat. I'm sure there are some benefits that I'm missing. I'm not obviously an Amazon executive, but I don't see this as being a good change. I don't think I don't think letting your third parties update your content is smart. I know it's very circumstantial where it's like if you don't have a certain amount of images or if you don't have enough characters, enough bullet points, right? That's kind of the only way they can do it. They can update it. What are we like? Are we seeing anything else kind of like that with brand registry? Like, is there any way to prevent that?
Yeah, so I think the first thing that you need to do is just make sure that your data is meeting Amazon's requirements. The days of titles being 400 characters and stuffed with keywords are no longer, and that's because a lot of times when we look at a title in a phone or in a tablet, it's truncated, right? So we're migrating to shorter and shorter titles. So the first thing is if you're not meeting the Amazon requirement and someone comes in and does meet that requirement, they might get that contribution because Amazon is going to see that data as meeting their, what they want to show on that product detail page. And just be careful about making sure that all of your data fields in the back end, not just title, but all of your data fields are filled in, because it does prevent others from coming in, and it's kind of like a soft block to update your product detail page. So for example, if you were missing country of origin and I was a third party and I came in and I thought, I'm going to change the title along with adding country of origin because I see it's missing, it does allow sometimes that data to go through. We also have to be careful of AI. AI is now on Amazon and is changing titles as well. But you can be successful by creating a case in brand registry and saying, hey, this title is not meeting my format, or and so far brand registry is still working for us in this way, as long as you're meeting Amazon's requirements for that category.
Yeah, there was a new feature that I just saw not too long ago. I saw that the bullet points, out of the blue, were displayed on a pretty popular product. Went into the back end, check it out. Um, uh, the bullet points are there, but it popped up that I was not the brand registered. I didn't have brand contribution. So Amazon is putting a lot of bells and whistles, more features, um, in the back end as well, to kind of let you know, hey, you can't make those changes. And like Lisa said, those bad actors or other sellers will make those changes on your behalf because you don't have those data points filled out, or whatever loophole that they may have found to make those changes. But again, you just have to make sure that you set the appropriate case up. It could be like, I think Lisa mentioned about linking, right? Sometimes that happens, right? Lisa, it's unlinked to brand.
Correct, correct. There is a node in the back end, and sometimes that node can get changed. And so that's just recognizing that the brand is disconnected. Sometimes it's not something that you can identify so easy. We use the trick about using the image uploader, because it does tell you that that ASIN is registered to your brand. But sometimes you can just tell because it doesn't connect to your storefront, or it's just not acting in the way that it should. And that's when you need to correct that brand node.
This has been a phenomenal episode. You both, thank you to both of you for joining us on the show today, talking about brand registry. Do you have any final thoughts for just the overall topic for our viewers?
I do, Pete. I think a lot of times it's intimidating to someone that might not have their trademark or not understand the process. And so that's where IP Accelerator comes in, or just some good old research on the USPTO.gov website. There's lots of information about brand registry that Amazon, there's videos on what it is and the features and the benefits. And so I would just say that don't be intimidated, and you need to register your brand. And once you get into the portal, it's very user friendly, it's very self explanatory. And I really feel like it's mandatory at this point. We don't want to be selling our brand and not have it protected.
Yeah, I have to agree with that 100%. It's if these creators, product creators, right, experience creators, whatever it may be, um, you have to protect it, protect your invention. So brand registry is definitely a must. The tools available today are so much easier. It's worth the investment, not only on Amazon, but even off Amazon, right? Having that trademark protection. We're focused on just the brand registry side, for Amazon and the features on Amazon, but you also have those protections, legal recourse off of Amazon as well.
Yeah, so it's just all around a benefit to have it. As soon as you can, as soon as it fits into your budget a little bit, go ahead and get that your brand trademarked. Well, thank you both again. This is a phenomenal episode. Thanks to everyone for watching. I'm Velocity Pete, and we will see you next week.